Hi guys, good morning from the UK. Today is the 15th of May, and let's just do a quick analysis of US30 before New York opens. Now, having said that, I did say in my last video I will be starting a new challenge, a 100,000 challenge, and taking trades solely and only based on the half trend and the hull strategy, hull suite strategy. So I am going to show you guys. I have started it, and I'm going to show you guys that in a bit how that went. And I took my first trade when Asian session opened. Now, just to let you know, guys know, US30 barely moves during Asian session, but because I had an indicator, the indicator ping yesterday night, and I saw that all the confluences match, like what are the rules that needs to be followed before I could take a trade using the half trend and the hull suite. So I went, and it all fitted, the rules met, and I thought, you know what, let's just put it in and then go to bed and see what happens. And you guys, as you can already see my screen, you can see what happened, right? So I show you guys what I did. So like I said, when you take a buy trade, you need to make sure the house suite is below, like below in green, and your half trend needs to be the candle needs to be above the half trend line, if that makes sense. And if it's a sell, it needs to be below, and then the house suite needs to be at the top. Okay, so this is what it paints last night, this arrow here. And you may ask me why I did not take this red one. This was a Friday close, but I could still have done a re-entry when market, like, opened, I would have thought, but I did not, just because of the fact that rules did not match. This is an uptrend, if you guys can see what I'm saying. So I did not take the sell entry, and when the buy entry pinged, I took it. And another one that I use in combination with this strategy, which I think it's really useful, is the MACD, which is the moving average confluence and divergence indicator. All these indicators that I'm talking about, you can actually find them on the indicators, and they are for free. Okay, they're not paid indicators. And for me, you see, the thing is, guys, I've kind of done a video before on how you trade with a naked chart. Like, you must, again and again, I'm reiterating, you must have the ability to be able to trade if one day all these indicators just disappear out of your life, right? But I just find just thrill, and it's for fun, really, just testing new strategies, new indicators, and just seeing what really works. And my main one that I use for my live account is my pin bar strategy. I love the pin bar strategy because it really has not failed me. And if you see all my earlier videos, I would have thought, or not really thought, I would have shared how I take my trades based on my pin bar strategy, right? But this whole strategy, half trend and MACD, was very recently introduced to me by a friend who trades, a seven-figure trader, and I thought that, why not just give it a try, and to make it even more fun, and also make me more disciplined to stick to the strategy, because I do have a tendency to kind of flip back to my pin bar. And I thought, you know what, let's do a YouTube series, like just focusing on this and see how that goes. And if it burns it, it burns it. If it doesn't, well and great. And then at least we have kind of evidence as to how this strategy pans out, if that makes sense. So, but I don't just follow it blindly. Like I say, I do kind of pay attention, like different confluences that I have in mind, including zones. Okay, because I think zones are very important for you to actually have an understanding of where price action may potentially go. And that is why you need to have the fundamental knowledge in trading. You can't just pop these indicators onto your chart and then just start taking every trade that pops through. Okay, but anyway, back to it. So this indicator pinged last night at close to 1 a.m. in the morning when Asian opened, and I took it. All right, and my risk reward is 1.5 close to, but I took it because there was a zone here. There's a mini zone in 5 minutes, which I marked up as well. If you can see my box, but if I'm going to just remove it, there's another zone right here. So I was a bit cautious of, like, price may possibly just tap into this and then reverse back. So I put it slightly above that as a for it to do if it's going to be a fake out and then reverse right back down on me. So, and because I was sleeping, I was not even able to, like, put it put a stop loss, or not stop loss, sorry, I do have a stop loss, but change it to break even, that's what I meant. Okay, but yeah, so I could not do any of that, and therefore so that was a bit like, I didn't want to push it too much. But let me tell you guys, though, I did mark up another zone here. Can you guys see the top zone here? And I truly did believe price would go up there, but I was just not willing to take the risk because I feel like, well, let's be very, very on it, keep it tight. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll tell you guys why I take the zone, just because there is a gap there, which I knew price had to come and fill. Okay, so if you guys can see this, can you see this gap? Okay, so price would come back there to fill it. I knew price was going to go in that direction, right? So I knew that, but I didn't take it. So obviously, as you can see, my trade price obviously on a 5 minute just flew above, and obviously more than my take profit. But that's okay. Do you know, I always say this, not always say, I feel like this is something I've learned over the years, not to be so, or rather learning not to be so greedy. Like the market is always giving. If there's, you missed today, there's always going to be tomorrow, because I feel like once you've taken enough, you should know how to exit the market. And this is a constant reminder to myself, because sometimes I tend to be so fixated at a certain point where I think price is definitely going to go there, that I kind of just get tend to ignore the other warning signs that, you know what, price reversal is coming. It's time you exit. You know what I'm saying, guys? So sometimes I feel like, you know what, if I've done my enough for the day or enough for this particular trade, I am exiting, and I can always catch the next round at the next opportunity. So this is where, and as you guys can see, it was a perfect hit. This was a very smooth one, 35 to 52 pips. It's a 1.5 risk to reward ratio. And so you know the rules that I have when it comes to the half trend and the whole suite here. But I'm going to show you guys how I use MACD. So when this thing pings and you know that it's going to go in the up direction, what I do look for at the same time is a crossover here in the MACD. You can see the crossover normally happens before the indicator gives you a signal, if that makes sense, on the half trend. So the MACD already did. So if the these two lines are basically like moving averages. So they call the signal line and the MACD line. So when this line, the MACD line, basically goes like do a crossover and to the upside, I know that that is going to be a buy opportunity. And obviously it crossed over here to the downside, and you can see there was a drop. And then again, there was another crossover here. You can see, like, see where this is running this bullish candle, and then it was up all the way. And over here, it was just intertwining, right? So it's basically just, it was, not something that I would have taken. There's no signals whatsoever. It's just messy. But yeah, but it just continued on a nice uptrend right now. And then we can see another crossover here point, which it's an uptrend again. But prior to that, I'm pretty sure there's another crossover. Yeah, there's multiple like crossovers at this point here where there was a downtrend. Okay, and then now currently we have another signal formed here, okay, which I did not enter just because it's below the hull suite, right? When it's below the hull suite, we are looking for sells. Now, there was this signal here for a sell entry. I did not take it either just because I did not see it. But having said that, I haven't done my analysis, so I'm not too sure if basically we are looking for sells at the moment. Okay, guys, so you guys get that. So I'm also going to show you guys how the trade panned out on my Forex platform. Okay, so this is my Forex funds. This is my account. And basically it's a demo phase one evaluation account. And based on the daily, you can see I did 721.50 cents. And yeah, so that's what it is. So profit and loss today. So it's a profit of 721. It was just one trade, and risk. Oh yeah, I only risk 0.5%, and I'm going to keep this as a rule throughout this entire challenge, to risk only 0.5% of the trade, every trade that I take. Okay, and a daily risk is maximum of 1%. But I'm just going to try and just take one trade a day, to be honest, guys. Slow and steady, slow and steady. Let's just play with this strategy to see how beneficial it is. Because if it is, and I'm being so transparent with you guys, where's the trade I took and how it panned out and why I took the trade based on my own analysis. And if it plays out really well, then it's something that you guys might want to kind of use it as a future reference and kind of back test it and play with it yourselves. And for all you know, it might be a strategy that is useful for you guys. Okay, so yeah, so this is you saw the trade in the trading view. So trading history, you can see it here. I mean, it's the same thing, right? So it's a buy. I opened it at night, and that's it. So US30. Okay, so you guys can see this. It's so that's for today. I haven't taken anything else, as you can see. I'm going to toggle back to this. All right, so I'm just going to see. Do you see, guys, see why I didn't take the buy? Like, you see, firstly, the rules are not met. It needs to be below, but also you can, it's dripping. So let's now get rid of all the markings here, and then I'm going to um do an analysis, because I think we need to understand where price action is and what price is going to be doing for the day, and where I think price possibly could go, so that we kind of know what we are looking for, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's start with the dailies right now, and I'm going to remove all of these indicators. I'm going to on back my Phoenix and this and this, and we've got smart money concepts. Okay, so let's do a top down analysis. So on a daily, we have a buy. Okay, I'm going to, let's just remove the MACD as well. Okay, just so that it's not so messy. Okay, so let me actually, you know what, guys, I'm actually just going to use a naked chart just so that it's clear and clean. And if I need to draw support resistance, I can. Okay, so this was again coming back to last week's analysis. Like you can see, this is a nice downtrend. So I'm just going to draw this so you guys can see this again, and how I kind of just get my head around what the market is trying to do, if that makes sense. Just let's just draw it here. Oops. Okay, this is on a daily. And I do, like, if you can see this thing, price is just here, really. Okay, it's touched the top here. Now the question is it going to tank, or is it going to go up and just break through? You know, if you have watched my previous video, I think 2 or 3 videos back, I would have drawn the same exact thing, and I said price could possibly come down to a retest and drop back down, or price could break through this and then retest and then go back up, right up there. Okay, so where do I think price could go? Let's just take it. Let's always look left to always understand where price might go. So where's the next highest point, right? So price can break through, come back here, this point here, right? So this marker, which is a nice support resistance line as well. And then the next one is this highs. And then you just follow the left. You just keep going higher according to what price is showing you, okay? I am now just going to drop to a 1 hour just to see what I think price is doing. Okay, so at the moment right now, I'm going to on back the Phoenix. So we have a downtrend, right? Clearly on just based on the 200 moving average. I personally feel like I am struggling to really see what I think price could do, just because I think that I just think that there's liquidity to grab on both sides, if that makes sense, guys. You know, price, obviously there's a liquidity grab here and here, definitely. You know, there's the top one, which is here, and there is a massive liquidity grab right at the bottom here as well. You can see the zones that's already drawn. So this will be a zone that I will be looking for as well here. Okay, which is not been drawn. So based on the forward, it looks like price is trying to move up, but again, I'm not going to be so sure about that, just because I could draw an internal line as well in the 4 hour markup. It will look something like that. Again, do you guys get see this? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's, I feel like it's in a range and not in a range. You know, it's still moving up and down, but it's just a question of which direction. And again, I'm just going to look at the trend line right now. It's broken up the trend line on a 4 hour, so I feel like it's going to push for the upside liquidity here, and whether it's going to go right back down is a question on its own. But I guess we just got to go with what price action tells us at the moment. So just based on what I am looking off here on a higher time frame, I believe that we are going to go on the upside. Doesn't seem to give me a push to the downside at the moment. Um, Yeah, I know I'm not being very concise in this video, but to me, like sometimes I do feel like price action really hasn't given the obvious signs. At least that's what I feel, and for myself. So in my head, it's like, okay, I see a whole lot of messy candles right now. So I'm just gonna just follow the trend. So on a lower time frame, it is obviously on a downtrend, okay? And I do know that there is liquidity on both sides. Okay, it has been forming lows, but here's an equalizer if you can see. Okay, and price did push up. The question really now is it going to continue to push up? And I think we just need to wait for price action to tell. Do you guys see that? So okay, so here it is. In the 15 minutes, it is above. Um, the 200 moving average, which is obviously towards leaning more towards a buy, but at the same time, it hasn't really done a proper push up. Okay. So I do need price to kind of really break structure at this level here, even though it's forming these highs. And but still it's not really breaking structure here at all. So you might just conveniently just hang right back down. So as far as this is concerned, guys, what my trade is going to look like right now, if you can see on a 5 minute, it's a buy. But I do think, again, just based on this, I do think that we could have a nice retracement back. Um, let me, yeah, I mean, we could have a retracement. If we see a retracement on the FIB on this, um, we could then possibly. Hold on, guys. Let me just see what this will look like. Yeah, so if price does come back to retrace it to 0.3 or 0.5, which is the zones here, which you've got a buy sell, and also there's the golden zone, which is 0.618, the third zone here, and then it rejects all of this, then we know that we are pushing to the upside. So as of now, it possibly could come down to touch the buy side liquidity before it goes totally up. Like I said, there's a whole lot of liquidity to be grabbed at the top. Okay, so I am looking for buys at the moment, just on a lower time frame to be very, very precise. Now, but then I do need, so I'm going to on back the indicators that we are looking at. Okay, and right now it's not a buy yet because this is a sell, like it's above, so it's meant for sells. Okay, so if it's going to be a sell, I am waiting for a proper, like a proper indicator again. But we do have, okay, another thing is today we do have PPI news, and therefore I'm going to just do this. Okay, so we do have PPI USD, we do have news at 1:30. um but it's Japan PPI, so I don't think that's really going to affect. But I'll wait for the news anyway, and then I am basically going to wait for a sell entry again, and possibly take it. Oh, let me see, where did this pin? Yeah, it pinned it here. So let's just see what price does, and I'll show you guys the indicators again. So this is Half Trend by Everjet, and this is Hull Suite in Silico. All right, but what I also want to suggest to you guys is just click on this notes and read the indicators up, right? Read how to use them, what you're doing, and then obviously the other one was this one, moving average, divergence, and convergence. Okay, which is the one I showed you guys earlier. And then just favorite it so it's always there for you to play around with. Okay, so right now, price I do think is going to do a tank right now. So we are kind of looking for sells on the 5 minute. All right, guys. So if I do see a 5 minute sell indicator come up, I possibly will be taking it, and I'll mark it up, and then we can see that tomorrow's video how that planned out. And yeah, so if you guys get any questions, please pop them in the comments. And I'm going to also quickly show you guys my settings just in case you want to do back testing. So in my half trend, I've played with the amplitude. Originally it was 2, and I've increased it to 5 right now, just so that it doesn't put out that many signals out. You know, they're more precise, if that makes sense. But again, I'm playing around with that. Right now it's at 5. I haven't changed it till I started, from the time I started this challenge, which was yesterday. But like I said, play with it. And I've only tested this on US30, so please do not assume that, oh, you can play this with any pairs like GBP USD or Euro USD and think it's going to work the same, because I do not know that for fact. So if you're going to use the default settings, always do back testing, and then this one, my Hull suite, this original was 55, and I've changed it to 150. I mean 180, sorry. So this was the only two settings that I have changed. And so I just do want you guys to bear in mind that please do a lots and lots of back testing on the pair that you want to play with, or you want to take trades with, because there's no, I'm not sure how the settings or whether this combination of indicators would work well on a forex pair or which forex pair. You guys get me? So please do your own homework. Do a lot of back testing. Be patient. There's always going to be tomorrow and the next week for trades. So take your time to do lots of back testing before you take any live trades using this strategy. All right. So like even myself, I am still back testing still, and I'm now still just testing it out, even though I'm doing a challenge. But I am very self-aware that this strategy might not work and it might blow the challenge, even though I have been very, very careful with it, like taking only 0.5% risk and so on and so forth. But the strategy in itself just might not work. So this is a good indicator for me to know whether this strategy is something I could use moving forward. But I have tested it on US30 personally on a back test, and which is the reason why I thought let's go and try it on a demo account and see how that plays out. You guys get me? So if you're going to use it somewhere else, please be careful and do a lot of back testing. But yeah, so these are my settings. I already showed you guys, and I've also told you guys where I think price possibly could be going for. So I'm going to on back the smart money concepts here. So you've got all this buy entries like buy liquidity grabs to happen. There's also one right here, but if it's going to tank, I think it's going to go back down, to be honest. So I'm just waiting for a sell, and most probably my trade will be after the rate folder news at 1 o'clock or 1:30. All right, guys. So hope you enjoyed this video, and see you guys again in the next video.